Y'all, oops, there we go. Sorry, we're on live now. What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. I'm here with Rami.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, we're back again. Gonna talk about some crazy stuff. But first and foremost, let me drop some of these links here to the people to let them know that we are here. So, like the title says, anti-feminist females and women in male spaces. God, it's pathetic.
You gonna drop her a link?
No, I'm not gonna drop her a link. She wouldn't know what to do. She'd probably just block me or something. I'm pretty sure she's scared to have her ideas. What's going on here? Oops. Something just went wrong there. Oh, I started another hangout on accident. Let's talk about her. Where did that tab go? I got like 30 tabs open, man.
This dance class is just for dads and their babies. What the hell is this video?
Did you see that? Did you see that
I only just saw it.
That farkery. What is that? That's just pathetic, man. I don't know what's wrong with men, bro. It's like one guy said, why even grow a beard, man? Okay. So let's get back to it. Yeah, I don't even really need to focus on her so much. Just talk about it in general. I mean, okay, she's probably the catalyst for the topic, but really, this goes back to my video I made some time ago about like just women in traditionally male spaces, And I just wanted to, basically, I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute, but let me just say in general, guys, a Walt. All women are like that. They're all on the Waltz, man. There's no unicorns, bro. Any anti-feminist woman is a woman in a male space because anti-feminism is definitely a male-initiated movement. So what is she doing here? For the most part, what is a woman doing in an all-male space? Come on, give it to me. What about you, Rami? Do you know? You know the answer?
I think it's just her trying to portray herself in a certain type of way to try gander a special type of attention. She wants a real man.
Yeah.
And a feminist man is not going to be the guy she's looking for.
There you go. Virtue signaling, attention seeking, portraying the unicorn, image. That's all she's doing, really. And, that's what most of these anti-feminist women are doing. Now, the one we're talking about in specific, of course, that's very clear. She made that very clear. I don't think she even did it intentionally, but it was a nice insight to see her hamster wheel spin, and then leave the evidence on the road in the form of skid marks. So she deleted the thread. But guys, look, women are only coming to male spaces and male ideology for the purpose of male attention. They are not looking to, for the truth. Because how does a person who is more concerned with how they feel than the truth help you establish it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the specific situation. Screw it, we're here. Yeah, so anyway, there's this woman. We're not going to mention her. She has actually some pretty good posts. And I'll still share from her posts, despite understanding what and who she is and calling her out on it. But the reality is, she's not really the ally to men that she makes herself out to be. She calls herself an anti-feminist, but she probably is, but from a solipsistic stance, out of her need for a traditionalist type, like Rami said, like, masculine male. So, Anyway, a brother, he posts a comment on one of her threads. It wasn't even hostile. He was just like conveying his experience, and she started trying using shaming tactics on him. And I called her out on that, and I said, "Oh, I said, she's not an anti-feminist, but she sure did switch to like feminist tactics real quick, feminist shaming tactics." And it just, boom, it just unwound everything. And I basically said something along the lines of, "Oh, and here's the real her." Now, a couple of things came out that you will see as a consistent behavior amongst all of these anti-feminist females. One, she uses the same shaming tactics and the same methodologies as feminists, because that's the fallback for all women. All women are like that. What did she do? She turned to shaming tactics. Obvious first tactic of any woman. That's what they all do, feminist or not. Two, she got angry, and then she started talking about banning people. She switched to foul language, and yeah, banning and foul language. Now, what's the importance of this? The foul language I'd never seen before. I follow her page quite regularly. I actually go check it, and feminists come to her page and they attack her. And I've never seen her use foul language against feminists. But when some men came in there and didn't agree with her and validate her entire frame, she flipped out and started cussing. Then she started talking about banning men. She insinuated, "I'm going to have to clean up," aka start blocking people. Now, again, she's attacked by pernicious and very, very angry feminists all the time, but she never talks about blocking them. This has to do with attention, because you have to understand, she loves the attention that she gets from feminists that is negative, but she doesn't want negative attention from men, because that's what she wants to portray, a positive personality towards herself. You see, now creating an echo chamber, aka blocking people with opposing opinions, is the classic tactic of feminists. When they can't block you, what do? They turn to sponsors, they turn to websites like Milo Yiannopoulos. They got him banned from Twitter. They look to get you banned if they can't block you. This is a classic feminist tactic. So, I mean, most of these anti-feminine feminists are actually feminists in disguise. And here's an important point. I don't know if you know this stuff, Rami, but I'm just something I've like observed over time. These anti-feminists, female anti-feminists, woof, man, that's a tongue twister. They love getting the negative attention from feminists, because feminists are mostly unattractive women, and they're angry and bitter, predominantly probably because they don't get attention from men. This is why you see the feminists out like on Women's Day a couple of weeks back, not the Women's Day, but some women's protesting. They were all walking around dressed up in vaginas. What? Who goes around dressed up in a vagina costume? Why would you do that? They're looking for attention. Femin, this famous protest group, they run around topless, tits out for Harambe or whoever they're protesting, that week, whoever's they're mad at, they take their tits out and they just run around and jump in front of Putin and stuff with their boobs waving in the wind. Why would they do that? Because they know men are going to look at their boobs. They are looking for male attention. So when the anti-feminist female comes out and gets a lot of male validation, what do you think that does to the feminist? It makes her jealous. It's a DHV, demonstration of higher value. Oh, look at me. I've got all this male attention. You jealous girls. Oh, you bitches, If you read Esther Villar's book, what's it called? The Manipulated Man, she goes in on this in detail. She's like, women are probably more addicted to attention from other women than they are from men. So, you really gotta look at it like, you gotta really look at it from that window. And generally, when like you look at the likes of like Esther Villar, you have to wonder why she would lie about something like that. I mean, she does have some screwed up ideas.
I could understand that, because most women, they know they're going to get attention from men. So getting attention from a female, like good or bad, that could, give them a certain type of satisfaction.
Okay, so we got Adil Ahmed says, Walaikum salam, I hear you, bro. Was it possible that she is a legit ally, but internally she has some bad habits that are unaddressed? Absolutely. I don't believe she's an enemy. I don't believe she's an enemy to men. I actually believe she is an anti-feminist female. I believe that. But like I said, I think she does that from her solipsistic stance and from a hypergamous stance. You know, she has stated in a roundabout way more than once that, you know, we need our men. So, you know, she's talking about it like from a sense of like who's going to protect us, you know, who's going to provide for us. So she understands that the move away from traditionalism is a move away from chivalry, because you cannot have chivalry without a patriarchy. The two are intrinsically combined. You can't take one away. You know, they complete each other. So she understands this. So I think she is an anti-feminist from a solipsistic stance. I don't think she's an enemy. That's why I said to this day, despite our argument and her threat to block me, I'd still share her stuff because her stuff is quite well written. It's very good. You know, you can tell she spends a lot of time in thinking about it, you know. A lot of feeling goes into it. And you can tell when someone's like, you know, kind of faking it, and she's not faking it, you know, that's obvious. But if you take away from her attention, she's gonna go at you, man. You know, and that's that unaddressed habit right there, that entitlement. You know, she said something to me. She said, and it's funny. This is another piece of proof that she's in it for attention. She said she called me a misogynist. I was like, okay, I'm a misogynist. So I responded back because I was thinking, what kind of crazy stuff is that? I said, you know, I regularly share your stuff to my page. I was like, you know, and I didn't it really. That's all I said. I didn't explain that. Like I'm saying, would a misogynist share information from a female's page? Obviously not. So she says, do you think I care about a page that only has 72 likes? And I was like, and you know what? You know what's funny? I honestly didn't know I had 72 likes. I didn't know. I didn't even know how many likes I had. I don't look. I was like, oh, 72. I'm like, man, I'm Big Willie now, dude.
Going straight for a personal attack.
Yeah. So no, it's not even that. I was like, that was proof that she's in it for the attention. Only 72 likes. The importance was in she is concerned about likes. Had I had 72,000, she would have probably taken a different stance towards me. It's all about attention for her, you know. She probably believes it. Truth. Yeah, no, she wants the male orbiters, you know. So she has a large selection of men to choose from. Absolutely, man. That's her whole game. You know. So I think that's a piece of proof that, you know, she's just in it for the attention. I don't think she's an enemy, but definitely her primary drive is not for the benefit of men. You know, she doesn't really care about gynocentrism or the end of it. You know, it serves her for it not to end because this gives her a platform to attract men. If it ends, where's she going to get male attraction from? If we go back to our patriarchy, who's going to care about the talk of anti-maleness? Because we'll be in a patriarchy. There will be no anti-maleness. Why would she want that? I don't know. What do you think?
I think you hit bang on. Like her bringing up the likes pretty much highlights that she's in it for the intention. Mm-hmm. She's just got her own little niche going. Like she's trying to attract a guy any way she can, and I guess that's the best way for her that she sees fit.
Absolutely. You know, I actually said that in the thread before she deleted it. I actually said that. I said, you found your niche. You found your little, you know, loophole.
Yeah.
Where there's a, you know, nobody's filling the gap for male attention in the Islamic community. Because really there's no other anti-feminist Muslim website, if you will, you know, but hers. So, yeah, she's digging that attention.
It's quite big, isn't it?
I think she's got quite a few likes. I don't know. I never looked, to be honest.
2,500, but that's a fair amount.
Yeah, it's not bad. I never looked, to be honest. This is the first time I'm hearing 2,500. She told me I had 72. I didn't even know I had 72. I don't care. I was like, wow. I'm like, awesome, 72. I could have figured I had 7. I don't know. Abdullah bin Bobby. The topic is anti-feminists and women in male spaces. And so we're generally just talking about,
Bobby.
yeah, right. And we're generally just talking about how like women, we ended up talking about a specific woman, but in general, women, they enter into male spaces for male attention, and they really don't have much else to do there, and that's why they go there. And that's another thing. She's talking about the manosphere is like the same as feminism, and it's just hilarious because what she fails to realize is that anti-feminism is again directly connected to the manosphere. Anti-feminism is not something that was organically grown or organically coming from the female side of the house. It came from men. See, she doesn't understand that manosphere or red pill. She said she didn't even know about red pill before I mentioned it to her, which is crazy.
Really?
But yeah, that's unbelievable. How are you going to be an anti-feminist and not know about red pill? She knows about the manosphere, but she doesn't know about red pill. But the manosphere and the red pill, they're synonyms.
Yeah, that's true. But to be honest, I didn't know about red pill when I've been an anti-feminist since probably like 15, 14, years now.
Fair enough,
I knew about red pill when, like I said, when Hassan invited me to the group, and I just pretended I knew about it.
You said you pretended. You said fake it till you make it. But
yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
we're gonna do some of the comments in this section. But anyway, she didn't even know about red pill, and that the manosphere and red pill are basically one and the same thing. And so, how can you be anti-feminist and not part of the manosphere? She is passively, if not actively, part of the manosphere because she's in a anti-feminist stance. That's what she calls herself. She'll have to change it. She throws the manosphere under the bus, but she's riding off of a term that came from the manosphere.
Yeah,
that owns it.
Simple that.
She's basically trying to take the position in Islam that Camilla Page, the factual feminist, has, and what's that girl writes what's her name? Karen Strawn. Because they're the face of like the MRM, the men's right movement, those two women. So she's basically like in that position. Like, did you really think this through? So anyway, Adil says, it seems like she may have some sort of personality disorder or like traits. I don't know. I'm not a medical profession. I do consider myself to be somewhat of a personal study type individual of forensic psychology and behaviorism, but I couldn't call that one. It's possible that she is supporting a noble cause. Fair enough. But the reaction and comment about your lack of likes shows insecurity and shallowness. Yeah, well, what woman isn't insecure and shallow, though? I mean, that's the nature of women. They have to be like that biologically. I talked about that in a video a while back. He continues to say, it takes a very good woman to leave an ideology that is female gravy trained and lose a lot of support from other women. Yeah, but then she gains attention from women, because one thing I noticed about women, they enjoy being a center of attention, whether it's negative or positive. They don't really differentiate between types of attention, just as long as they're the center of attention. So, she gets a lot of hate from women, which is attention, and she gets a lot of validation from men, which she's definitely eating up and loving. Makes her hijab wet, So you, hey, I just said her hijab. You can't say the cure is the same as the disease itself. Abdullah, please. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, I didn't understand it first. Yes, absolutely. She's trying to say, yes, the cure and the disease are the same. She's trying to say the manosphere is the disease, but it's technically the cure. It's a bit crazy talk on her part. But what woman isn't nuts in general? I guess I'm a misogynist for saying that.
I'm so tempted to just inbox her the link.
I wouldn't hate on you if you did, but
man, we'll see our pictures up on the internet the next day with red lines for our, when somebody gets repeated.
Oh God, I'd love to see that. I love a fight, man. I'll take on everybody. Yeah, man. He said, please add her. Man, dude, she actually showed that she's not capable. She showed that she's not capable of a reasonable conversation, like most women. And if you For sure, it'll be pure entertainment. Like, yeah, he just said it'll be pure entertainment. It will. It'll just be a lot of like caps locks and, cussing. Because I was surprised that she actually started cussing. I'd never seen her cuss before, and she actually faced more pernicious attacks from feminists than she did from like what she considered to be an attack from us.
That's crazy that she swore at you. I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah. She was cussing. She didn't swear at me, but she just started using like vulgarities. I'd never seen her use a vulgarity before. If she did, I managed to miss it. But this time, she was like, obvious angry speech. Definitely hit some sort of like the arrow struck home. Yeah. Anyway, if you see these women, guys, there's no unicorns, man. Stop looking and stop believing it. It's not real. If you see a woman doing stuff like that, automatically chalk it up as virtue signaling, and seeking attention. It is what it is. It's what they're made for. It's what they're designed to do. And that's why I'm always skeptical of any woman inside of a traditionally male space or movement. And that's what anti-feminism is. It's a male movement. What is her benefit to being in an anti-feminist movement? Feminism actually like really reinforced and solidified gynocentrism. Why would she not be in favor of that? I said this before. As much as I know it would be wrong, if there were laws and rules in place for Black people like there are for women, I'd be like, man, that's messed up. Well, let me go get this free money from that white guy down the street that just looked at me funny. Divorce rate, get it? I'd be like, yeah, man, this is tough. I want to get paid. Just imagine if Black people could do like women do to men in divorce rape. If I could just go to a job, prior rape, or he beat me, or he's a bad guy, or he didn't give me proper attention or promotion or whatever. Technically, you can do this, and I would walk away with half that company's income after working there a month. Do you know what kind of temptation it would be to not do that? What would be my benefit to speak out against a system like that? Even if I didn't really actively take advantage of it, I would passively be accepting and taking the benefits of it. And I'd be happy. I would. I'd know it's unjust, and I'd really feel bad about it. But at the same time, it's like, man, you really want to end this gravy train, bro? Nah, just be quiet, man. Let that ride. That's what she's doing. How does that make sense? Of course we wouldn't do it. We're men. Because the truth is more important than how we feel. And for a woman, how she feels is more important than the truth. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I talk like this now, and like I said, it'd be difficult, but I have to do it. How could I call myself a person who's just and fair, sleep well at night, and look at myself in the mirror and accept a system like that? I couldn't do it. I'd have to fight it. I have to.
Especially as men, like when it comes to our word and our bond, like I really find it hard. I really find it hard to respect somebody the moment he breaks his word.
Absolutely.
Even if it's something small, I just look at him completely different.
Yes, bro. I had a woman break her word. She swore by Allah on some stuff, bro. She just broke her word like that. Not even within the hour, she broke her word. I haven't been able to respect her ever since. I just can't look at her like you said. I can't look at her the same. And I expect this behavior from a woman, and it's still kind of hard for me to like. I'm like, this okay? It met my expectations. And I was just like, oh man. But it's like when they talk, it's just like,
yeah, it's crazy.
You can tell me, my hair is blonde, and I could be looking at a picture of my blonde hair, and I'd be like, nigga, that's a dirty blonde. That ain't real. Ahmed said, Adil said, even if we find the ideal woman, she would be affected by mainstream feminist culture. Refer to Blacksmith Hadith. Absolutely. Islamophobia on TV. Okay. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, listening, he says, welcome. Abdullah says, have you seen this page yet? Save yourself from blackman.com.
I'm checking it out now.
No, I haven't. For me, that would be kind of an oxymoron. Save yourself from a black man. I'm not sure under what circumstances I'd look up a page like that. How to save myself from myself. MichaelJacksonBleach.com. No. Yeah, guys, I don't know if there's much more to add to that, really. Just about women being in male spaces. If you get here, look, here's the thing. If you get a woman who requests to be in a male space, man, you got to shoot it down. You can't allow it, because what are they seeing there? What are they doing? Look at Islam. Look at the wisdom of Islam. And for all my non-Muslim viewers, you have to understand the beauty of Islam. People complain about Muslims and Islam a lot. Y'all say, oh, y'all are harsh, y'all are, what do you say? Oppressive, that's the word. But Islam mandates the separation between the sexes. There's no intermixing or free mixing between what's called non-mahram, meaning a man that is allowed to marry another woman, meaning you can't marry your aunts, your sisters, your mother, these type of close related women. So if she's not a woman that you have a genetic bond to, that you're not allowed to marry, direct family, you're not supposed to mix with her. What does that do? It prevents stuff like this, women interfering and entering into male spaces. And the benefits are just so awesome, man. I mean, think about it. You don't have all these problems of gynocentrism. Hypergamy is definitely cut off right at the roots. How does a woman monkey branch or act upon hypergamous impulses if she's cut off from a bunch of men? And I give the example that TFM gave a while back. It's like our great grandmothers had maybe in her lifetime, when it comes down to like actual marriage proposals in her lifetime, if she lived up to like maybe 90 years old, maybe 50 maximum if she was a really hot woman, 100 men. Today, 2017, women have access to that daily through social media. And if you've ever gone shopping with a woman, look how long it takes them to find a pair of socks. That's what they're doing with men. Go look, come back, go back around, come back and look again. Wait, there's a better deal over there across the street. Let me go over there. Oh, wait, but they're not as nice. They're not all fluffy. Let me come back over here. And that's what women are doing. They're mixed between their desire for the bad boy and the beta provider. And it's driving them nuts. Social media provides women with an entire shopping list of hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of men. This is why women are committing less. This is why divorces are, look at, since no fault divorce came into effect, 70+% of all divorces were initiated by who? Women. Since no fault divorce came in, I'm not satisfied. Why? Because now you've got like an entire freaking neighborhood of dudes to choose from. Yeah, Ted doesn't look so appealing anymore. He was just fine when you didn't think you could walk away with half of his stuff. You know? So you can't let women into male spaces. You can't. Or our ideologies.
Yeah, they'll try to monkey branch. Like, you shouldn't let that happen.
Okay. Abdullah. No, I misread it. The page is called SaveYourselfBlackMan.com.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, save yourself from black man. I was like, what?
Is there a low-key racist in the chat?
Hey, man, you know what? Some of these African American sisters, man, the stuff they say, I wouldn't be surprised if a page like that existed. So, yeah, anyway, like I was saying, keep these women out of male spaces. And Islam basically has a stop check to this. Guys want to hate on Islam and Muslims, but really, all the problems that they complain about, we got the solution. What's your opposition to us? It's virtue signaling for women. That's what it is. You know, they want what we have, but at the same time, they want women to like them. So they're hating on us for it. Male orbiting. You know, it's really bad. But they don't like to add anything. I was just yakking. I went on a scree there for a second. Why? Anybody got questions, comments, or anything in the comment section? Okay, Adil says, you're absolutely right. We are too gullible sometimes when we see women doing good in our space. It reminds me of the girl who has all male friends. Red light. Yeah, that's a huge red flag. You know, and that's something that I was just reading about this actually. It was on the Reddit. It was the Red Pill Reddit. And the guy was saying, like, you know, his girl has male friends, and they got into an argument about it. And they were like, why are you arguing with her? He's like, you know, you have to speak to women in absolutes. And I agree with him on this. It's like, You have to just tell her, my girlfriend doesn't have male friends. And then if she responds, well, I got friends, blah, 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 she wants to argue it, and then say it again emphatically. My girlfriend doesn't have male friends. Now, if she chooses to throw you under the bus for her male friends, she was never in a relationship in the first place. And for a Muslim, it's even more imperative because, again, we have the non-mixing going on. So why would under what circumstances would you allow your woman to like just be having a bunch of male friends? What? Yeah, absolutely, bro. It's a huge red flag whenever a woman wants to be in a male space. You know, I find it completely unacceptable. You know, I wouldn't accept that from my woman folk. It was a conversation we had with another sister, you know, on her brother's page. I won't say his name here, but basically I was like, you know, she's on a page with a bunch of dudes arguing. I'm like, under what circumstances would your husband be okay with you being online arguing with a bunch of dudes? I was like, my woman folk won't do this. You will not find the women folk of Abuamerican online arguing and debating with men. It is not going to happen. Dude, you want to talk about having a freaking gorilla ape fit? That's not happening. Not my daughter. Nobody. You don't see any of the women folk in my family. This is something even my sister doesn't do this stuff. My mom doesn't do this stuff. My cousin is on Facebook. She doesn't do this stuff. This is not something that you find in the family of my bloodline. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, it's just a passive understanding that women don't take action like that. What do you want to do? You're going to go into a male space, and whether it's good or bad, what you think you're doing, when you attract attention from men, it's always going to be thirst. You know, that's the primary attention that they get, thirsty males, which leads to stalkers and dudes that are like making inappropriate comments and hints and whatever else. So now when it starts going bad, despite it being good at first, who do you expect to come bail you out of it? Well, me, I'm your man folk. What do you think I'm going to say? What the heck were you doing there anyway? Who told you to be there? You know, under what circumstances would that be acceptable? So that's a problem right there already, that someone in her family is letting her just run out there and do whatever she wants, however she wants online. You know, it's nuts. But how is that okay under any stretch of imagination? You want to call me like, what do you call it, oppressive or whatever else? But look, here's the thing. If I tell any of my women folk, go out and do this and go out and do that, she's acting upon my initiative, what I told her to do under the agency of Abuamerican. If she gets into trouble, I'll defend her because she's doing what she's supposed to be doing according to me. But if she goes out and take actions on her own, then what's one of my biggest statements? How can you say you love somebody without teaching them accountability and responsibility? You started that mess. You need to clean it up. Don't ask me to come along after you dug this big old hole and fell in it to come. No, you got a shovel down there in the hole. You need to dig steps. Who told you to be out here? What is she doing online, debating and arguing with dudes? What is she doing? She doing that under the agency of someone in her family? And then when things don't go her way, she wants to create an echo chamber. I'm going to start blocking people, this, that, the other, and getting mad and cursing and acting with like poor manners. Who does that? But I'm a misogynist for saying this. She wants the protection and deference of men as long as it fits within the frame of how she wants that. Meaning I get to run out and do whatever I want online, how I wish. But then the moment you try and, restrict me in that, I bet you with her husband, if she had a husband, talak me, give me my khula. You're so oppressive. You're oppressing me. Yeah. We know her type of like traditionalism she wants. Wallahu alam, let me say that. But I think it's shown in her personality on how she automatically switched to feminist tactics. Shaming, silencing, threats, echo chambers. It's class. That's feminism 101.
Especially with the personal tags.
Yeah, stop me if I'm wrong.
You only have 72 likes.
Yeah, 72 likes.
Crazy.
I'm happy actually. I'm impressed that I have 72 likes. I really am. Sometimes I say some stuff, I'm surprised anybody likes it. Someone pop up on her feed, someone might be like, oh my God, someone might know that I'm actually on this page.
That's true. You don't even really promote it. It just passively gets more likes.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't pushed an agenda on there whatsoever. Not even this page. I was surprised actually when one of the brothers got added to the group. He actually started posting my videos on his wall. That was the first time that's ever really happened. I was kind of surprised. I was like, I almost panicked. It's not that I have anything against it. It's just It's not something I push or I promote. Every single 408, I think it is, as of today, people who follow my page, 100% organic. I didn't promote it. I haven't pushed it. I haven't, not beyond right here. So he says it's something we need to remind each other of, jealousy and being protective of our women. But you'll see Muslim men shame other Muslim men for putting restrictions on their wife. Absolutely.
So yeah, that's so true. So true.
I think this comes with a lack of understanding of what is it called? The youth. What is the youth in English?
Cuckold.
Yeah, it's a type of cuckold.
It literally translates exactly into cuckold from Arabic.
Oh, nice. Wow.
When I told my mum, I literally said to my mum, "What does this word mean?" And she got so angry at me because she was like,
really?
"It's such a dirty word, cuckold." Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah, it is dirty. It's dirty. And I talked about this with the Angela in one of my prior videos when I was talking about Angela Jolie and Brad Pitt, the cuckoldry. Yeah, I cater that also. Yeah, jealousy. Cuckoldry can take place on multiple levels. Now, Islamically, I'm not sure. I don't want to talk about that. But from a social stance, cuckoldry can be like what Kanye West went through with Amber Rose and Kim Kardashian. Who lets their woman go out like that? You are being cuckolded when you let your woman go out and show her equipment like that. What's wrong with you? Why would you accept that?
The thing is, though, they're proud of it. Like, I don't understand that. Like, they happily flaunt it off.
Nah, man, you know what? I've had more than one woman tell me, sometimes we put on stuff just so we want you to tell us to change. And when you don't, I was married to a drop dead beautiful Somali girl. I mean, she was woo, mashallah, in Qatar. And this is, she's modeling material, mashallah. And, we used to have these debates all the time. It was like, look, man, what are you doing? Where do you think you're going like that? And her family was actually surprised that I got her to start wearing abaya and hijab, And they're surprised because I'd be like, nah, where do you think you're going like that? So you crazy?
Hell no.
I'm like, girl, you see your equipment? That's mine now, It's my turn. Yeah. But, she's actually what brought me onto this red pill direction. Adil says, this is literally the first time I'm sitting with men who are switched on and aware. Mashallah. You'd be surprised, man, how we just sort of accidentally collided together, Adil. This is amazing, man. Get this, Adil. This is hilarious. We had a guy in the group. It's an all-male space. We actually have an all-male space. Yes, we do. And a guy who's switched on tried to add a woman to the freaking group. He
did say he was trolling though. Like, I don't know about this person in particular.
That dude was all suspect. He actually told someone he's happy being beta.
Really?
Yeah.
Brother Tomasi, he addressed that, like, the most despicable of men are the ones that are switched on and that they try to revert back.
Yeah.
They try to willfully ignore it. But you can't. Like, once you switch on, it's impossible.
Is your Facebook? Yeah, that's me. Yeah, Abdullah. Yeah, that's me. But that's why I say, go ahead and like my Facebook, because generally I'm not going to add people unless we have someone in common. I don't hide who I am, even my real name, because it ain't that serious. There's nothing I won't say here online that I won't say to the face of my boss or some other individual, and the risk is from Allah. I'm not I'm not a doctor or whatever else. I got to be worried about being fired from some Royal Medical Hospital because, I have misogynistic ideology. I go to work, I do my job well, and the people they appreciate that. So I don't really hide that. I don't hide who I am online. I don't directly say my name, but if, someone finds out, it's like, whatever, That is a congruence test I've never heard of, but thanks for telling me. I put this on you, so what do you say? I put this on so you tell not to wear it. That's madness. Yeah, no, absolutely. I've had multiple women tell me that they will actually use a congruence test. For anybody who doesn't know congruence test, I'm trying to stop cussing, but a shit test is congruence test is a polite way of saying a shit test. They will test you with that, They'll literally push things that you know will bother, that they know will bother you, especially in regards to their clothing, you know, and attracting other men, in order to just be a congruence test to see if you'll stand up to them. JW says he said that he was trolling to save face. Yeah, he did. He was just trying to save face. Absolutely. You know, he's done that more than once, actually. Yeah, you know, saying he's trolling. Because after that, I think I really started jumping on him inside the group. Yeah, okay, I'll accept in a minute here, Abdullah. Actually, I can do it right now, actually.
Abdullah, where's my friend request? What am I? My bag of potatoes.
Holy smokes, I got like a whole bunch of notifications. Okay, accepted. I'm not gonna look at all these notifications now since we're live. Let me just go back to this. I got like a ton of notifications. Like, what the heck? Okay, Abdullah, accepted. So anybody, any comments, questions, whatever else, you know? How long we've been on here? I don't even know.
Yeah, no idea.
40 minutes already. Wow, doesn't even feel like it. That's the fastest 40 minutes. You have to be suspicious of any woman trying to go into a male space. It's just not, you know, what good can come of it? Because here's the thing. Even the most alpha of men, when you really look at them, you put a, you know, this was where, what's it called? The Coolidge effect, I think it's called, the Coolidge effect. Where basically the Coolidge effect is, it was observed by Calvin Coolidge, actually, the president. I think he was president, right? Yeah. That he was visiting some animal behavior type of location, and he noticed that this JW. So what did you do for International Women's Day? We did this. So what Coolidge observed was that anytime a female is introduced into an environment, or a new female is introduced into an environment with a male, the male has renewed sexual interest, even, you know, if he just completed, like, you know, having sex with multiple prior females. So every time a new female is introduced, he gets more sexual vigor. This is called the Coolidge effect, and it's observed predominantly in males, vast majority, and only to a smaller effect upon the females. So what happens when you introduce a female into a male environment? Automatically testosterone starts exuding, you know, whatever else. Guys start with competition amongst each other. It puts her in a scarcity position. One woman, multiple men. She automatically comes, DHV is ultra high, demonstration of higher value. She's the valued prize. Everybody wants it. And if you look at like TFM, he talks about this. He talks about what is needed for male scarcity return. He basically says a war where a bunch of guys get bumped off. You know, he's like, a bunch of men need to die, and then male scarcity will come back in. But right now, technically, we have artificial male scarcity coming around anyway. This is why polygamy is such a big conversation in the Islamic community. It just popped up out anywhere. If you haven't noticed, there's so many gay people. There's so many transgender dudes. Everybody's trying to be gay or a woman. So like the number of available men has dropped dramatically, because where are the real men? And then you got all these beta orbiters. So those guys with like true masculinity about themselves, or even partial masculinity about themselves, they're in high demand. You know, and some guys notice it actively, others notice it passively. So, you know, you follow that basic advice, you know, I know we're kind of off topic here. You know, just build yourself, your brand as an individual, you know, your skills and your ability. That guy becoming the alpha Muslim, he was talking about this, where he said, don't get married, you know, but he was just saying basically make yourself more valuable, and you have to pick a litter. And he's right in that regard. But, you know, we've heard enough of this in Red Pill. You know, every single Red Pill individual or PUA tells you this. Even the MGTOWs who have walked away from women tell you this. So basically, if you do all that, let's say we're in a male environment with ultra high achieving men, like the country clubs of old, you know, where the rich used to get together and network with the other rich. And then you add a woman into that environment. At what right is she there? Look, men had to earn the right to join those circles. Even the circle we have, Not every man gets entered into that. We don't just let any guy in. You have to show that you have something. You have the burden, the burden of performance is upon you as a man. If you want to be in a country club with rich guys, you got to be rich. The burden of performance. You're worthy of being amongst us as rich men. To be with us as red pill men, you have to show that you understand certain basic principles, both in red pill and Dean. So why would we just let a woman in? Because that's what feminism is, isn't it? Give us stuff because BJJ. What did they earn? They demanded the right to be in male spaces. They didn't earn that right. They talk about voting. Not all men got the vote. Only certain men got the vote. And if you wanted to vote, you had to meet certain criteria. Most of them was military service. They just came along and was like, we want to vote. You know, it's not fair that women can't vote. Yeah, well, okay. Only 1/4 of the male population is allowed to vote. But they made it like if this big black and white, you know, men could vote and women couldn't. No, there was a large section of men that couldn't vote. Anytime women enter into a male space, they mess it up. You can't allow them into it. Yes, I don't think women should be allowed to vote. Every time they vote, what do? They vote in socialism. And what is socialism? Socialism is a type of oppression. Give me your stuff while I don't do anything for it. Tell me that's not what marriage is in general. Okay, we understand from Islamic perspective, that's how it's supposed to be. But when did this become an entire social entitlement where the random strange woman down the street, by way of tax, gets access to my resources? What? Sorry, comments. I'm ranting, man. You see, I can go on for hours. Okay, so Adil said, with another group, I think we should do a weekly event for health and vitality. Rolo mentioned in the book. I propose a YouTube hangout, press up elimination contest every week. Pretty awesome. I might win that one, actually. Actually, Abu Jamil might win that one on me. JW says, how do multiple women play Monopoly at the same time when there's only one iron? Dude, savage. JW says, first voting in the USA came about because of dudes looking to get nookie. Yeah, true. From women, yeah. Abdullah says, the benefit of polygamy is that it keeps a woman on her toes because she knows there is competition. Absolutely. Competition anxiety is important for women, even though they don't like it. They understand that. What polygamy does is ends the female scarcity mentality in a man. The worst thing you can have as a man is a scarcity mentality in regards to women. And women know this. They want you to have a scarcity mentality. Polygamy completely shatters that, you know. Completely. Absolutely, man. The beauty of Islam, man. There's an answer for everything. We can't say that's the reason for revelation, but it definitely covers everything. It encompasses everything. It encompasses the nature of females, men, women. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. But haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate on us. You know, it's Muslims. So, yeah. Wyoming in 1869, they gave them the right to vote in an attempt to get more women to move there. That's something I didn't know. That's interesting. It's a pretty smooth tactic. Wasn't that slick? Hey, who was it? Yes, exactly why even Muslimat fight against polygamy. Absolutely. And Islamophobia on TV. Let me tell you something, man. It's very interesting. You find that nowadays, like women have, you know, the Muslims, unfortunately, have like set the price and the bar for marriage so high, so expensive, that a lot of brothers, unfortunately, are looking to non-Muslim women to marry. And man, the reaction that you get from sisters when they hear this. See, they like that idea that there's an exclusively small pool of women to choose from, aka themselves as Muslims. And then when they actually show that, you can actually marry from Ahlul Kitab, they freak out, bro. They will dig up every piece of Islamic information they can to try and show that you can't do it, even though it is permissible. You know, and there's rulings that show that, like, you know, their understanding of what's considered to be chaste women is different from like their basic understanding. They will fight it tooth and nail. You know, it's just they want you to have a scarcity mindset. Absolutely, man. But here's something that I've noticed Islamophobia on TV. If you're a man of value in general, they'll relinquish that. They'll relent on that. You know, they'll generally they'll fight it with their natural like inclination, to try and, enforce their scarcity, their higher value upon you, what they perceive as their higher value. But if you're pretty much like a, pretty confident dude, you got like that very strong personality and whatnot, not dominating in a non-oppressive way, I guess you could say, and you're financially viable, especially, yeah, they'll tend to, they'll tend to relent. He says, I experienced that. I almost married two Caparad, and the response was tremendous. Yeah, it will be. It's unbelievable. Abdullah says, polygamy keeps women from placing a sexual trade embargo on their husbands. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's another thing. I said this actually in a thread, man. I said that somewhere. I said that, like, basically it's like women understand the power they have when they're the only woman, because if they didn't, they wouldn't use the removal of affection, either, emotional or physical, as their first line of like attack against you in a marriage. One thing I noticed, I was married to multiple women in Qatar. I was married to a Kenyan and a Somali. I had them like basically like real close to each other. They didn't dial back. They dialed up. They knew they were in direct competition with one another. And so basically they were like, let me wear this guy out before he goes over there. But they failed to understand basically the Coolidge effect. So that every day I'd go over there, my testosterone was ramped up, dude. I was like, you talk about roid rage. Well, I was on natural testosterone, like, sperm production rage, dude. It was mad. And I mean, they were both freaking just raw. Let's just say, we can't talk about details, but let's just say it was dialed up as much as I've never experienced that much affection in my life. Okay, Sam. Okay,
Samuel.
Nice. Okay.
Ahlan wa sahlan.
I was like, okay. I said, man, I like this guy. And I was kind of worried at first. I was like, what's going on here?
Okay.
Yeah. That trade embargo, man, it totally shatters that. It reverses it, because then they're in competition with each other and they know it. And everyone wants to be Queen Bee. Bro, Allahu Ta'ala Alam. I don't know. Allahu Alam. I don't know, bro.
My cousin.
Mm-hmm. No, please. I've been talking.
My cousin, he has two wives in Egypt. He's only like 20, 24, 25, and he houses them in the same house, and all he gets is arguing all day. So it's probably best.
I'd advise against it too. I'd advise against it. I don't know what the ruling is on it, but I would advise against it. I had a pretty large house in Qatar, and I paid to get it divided. And, I gave strict orders not to talk to each other while I was at work. And this is what they did. And so I was just dealing with all sorts of headaches, man, and heartaches from it, until eventually it came to the point that they ended up fighting each other, and the knives got involved. I ended up getting cut on the finger. I was bleeding everywhere. The police came and arrested one of my wives, man, deported her, because she's the one who cut me with the knife. So.
Ooh, straight deportation. That's crazy.
Yeah, they put her in deportation center for 2 weeks, and then they sent her out, man.
Slow clapping. That's funny.
JW says only if they demand it.
Allahu Alam. I'd need to look into that.
I haven't looked at it. I would advise against it personally. I'd advise against it. After my experience, I would not do it again. I couldn't even take them to the same places in one car. There was like an emergency situation. I can't remember what it was. And I was like, that just something intrinsically told me it was a bad idea to put one in the back and one in the front. So I was like, whoever's night it is sits in the front. Bro, do you know one was climbing into the back seat, trying to fight the other one. I had to stop the car. I literally got like maybe 50 feet from the house, and I had to carry my ex Somali. I had to pick her up and carry her over my shoulder back to the house and just leave her there. And even though it was her night and she was in the front, it was, bro.
Her night to happy.
Like, you know what? I was like, khalas, I'm gonna make a decision. That's it. She was only like 42 kg, so I could dumbbell curl her at the time, Yeah, I did pay dearly for it, man. I really did. It changed me as a man entirely and for life. I'll never. It was a it was a life changing event. The entire situation, in multiple ways. From emotionally to psychologically to my mentality and perspective on women and life in general. It harmed me financially quite significantly for quite a long time. I am just now recovering, and this is almost 4 years ago. You know,
Are these the same conspirators?
yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
So after fighting each other, they put down the knives and they went against you.
yeah. JW has like a front row seat to it. JW's when I always talk about one of my homies. JW is actually the speaker on the video that I have listed on epistemology. He's the speaker in epistemology video. JW.
Oh, okay.
JW is my homie. Alhamdulillah. If this dude wasn't there, man, I'd probably be mentally broken, man. That's my homie right there. If he said, "Yeah, man, it's unjust, but I need you to stab this guy," and I would have pencil and break it off, I'd just go do it, man. I'd be like, "Who that guy over there?" I didn't even know the story or his name. Yeah, JW says it's their right to have their own bedroom, kitchen, and washroom. Yeah, man. Those were rough times, bro. I can only tell you, man. But it made me stronger, alhamdulillah, and it completely changed my perspective in life in general. There was some damage Islamically, unfortunately, that I'm trying to repair, but bro, do not put the women in the same house. It's permissible or not. I'd advise you against it unless you have two absolute sheep that don't turn into wolves overnight, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or Mrs. Hyde, because some guys get away with it. I know a guy in Qatar, he got away with it, two guys actually, but me. But I wasn't red pill at then. These were type of guys that were like red pill, like naturally. They couldn't tell you why or what they were doing. They were just naturals, So we're way off topic though. Yes, actually I have. Yeah, I have. Abdullah. I've tried multiple. I've had considerable response, and I've had some success, but I wouldn't want to talk about that here. We'll talk about it on Facebook. I'll tell you about it on Facebook since we're friends now. I'm not sure if I'd advise it. Just from an Islamic standpoint, a lot of the mashaykh and the ulama, the scholars, they advise against it. And you find that there's a lot of damaged women online. You can find some good ones, but there are quite a few damaged women on there, and that's why they're online in general. But some women just don't have options, like especially these new reverts. They don't have a way. Their wali is either trying to get married to themselves, or the wali, or they just don't have one because they don't really, there's no community in that sense. Yeah.
If a Muslim pledges to be a revert's wali, could they then turn around and be like, "Oh, can I marry you?" Like, that seems
apparently. Really? I saw a comment on someone's thread that apparently there's like this epidemic of walis just straight haram smashing these sisters, man. Just like,
wow.
I don't want to actually, I actually feel bad now that I said it because that's kind of like rumor mongering. But this is like, I remember saying it on a Facebook chat. I was like, does this happen? Not on a chat, but what do you call it? Like a feed, like a status. I was like, does this happen? Because to me, this is like, yo, what?
I could see the temptation there for people.
Yeah. So, I don't want to be spreading stories, or rumor mongering, but I just specifically remember that from someone's Facebook status, and I was just so shocked, Yeah. It was just like, what the?
Well, they committing zina, or are they just getting
basically
married?
That's what was being said in that particular thread.
A lot of girls do fall for the we'll get married later, and then they do things prior, like that I know of, like specifically. Like I do know specific details in there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough stuff, man.
You're in London, man. You've lived in London.
Yeah,
You know what the Muslims are like here.
it's a
They'll
hot
just
mess,
go.
bro.
They'll just go saying, "Oh, she's my wifey, he's my hubby," and then they'll just do stuff together.
Yeah, London's a total fitna, man. You know, and we're way off topic of feminists, anti-feminists, and women in male spaces. But let me just say something else. Actually, it's kind of relevant, but not. Um, Abdullah says he should forsake his wali position when he wants to marry her. Absolutely. Um, One thing that's a problem with the scarcity mindset in regards to Muslim women, especially in London, is that the women don't keep themselves fit. And one thing you see that the non-Muslim women do in London, because London is a city of absolutely drop dead beautiful women, is they stay fit
Mm-hmm.
because the competition is strong there. Competition anxiety amongst women in London is unbelievably high. And these women work out like psychopaths to stay like absolutely fit. And then you got the Muslim women. You know how rare it is to see a Muslim woman who's not like in her, you know, late teens to early 20s that isn't an absolute just roly poly. I mean, just a huge bulbous landmass. Most of the women are like significantly overweight. And this comes from that entire mentality that you won't go outside the circle of Muslim women and marry a non Muslim one. So they can just let themselves go. They don't worry about themselves. They don't work out, you know. And this is something that I had one of my guests on, the personal trainer sister. You know, she talks about this, you know, that they get married, they're in half decent shape, and then they get married, they fall apart, and their husband starts like going out chasing the non Muslim women. And so she's trying to keep these sisters in shape, you know.
Yeah, that Polish lady, she was really going on about how she hates fat people. It made me laugh. But
Yeah, she's a
she
personal
hates fat.
trainer.
I couldn't stop laughing at it.
Yeah, man.
When she was talking about how women, when they get married or when they get pregnant and they can't be bothered
Yeah.
to lose the weight, it was really hard for her to keep her hating. Like you could hear in her voice. It was funny.
Yeah, she really despises overweight people. Yeah. Islamophobia says a lot of women push that brothers need to be wealthy because the ulama say it's highly recommended the wives have their own places or be really poor. You know, go live in a tent. You give her a tent, give the other one a tent.
It depends where you live, though. Like you can get apartments like cheap in some places of the world.
Yeah, it's a weird obstacle they place towards polygamy. Yeah, absolutely. They'll put up any obstacle they can. Like you know, the sister never responded. She was like doing this flip flop thing, where basically it was like, you know, she's saying it's permissible, but it's not permissible. And I was like, which is it? She never answered me. She never came back to the thread. Yeah.
They
But
fall
sorry.
into that a lot, talking about
Yeah.
Islam, but it's really like their own desires.
Well, what did we start off saying about this early on in this particular anti-feminist and women in male spaces? That women aren't concerned about the truth; they're concerned about how they feel. You know,
That's
they're more
very
concerned
true.
with how
That's
they
very true.
feel as opposed to the truth. This is why you find them with this cognitive dissonance in regards to a lot of aspects of Islam and the authority. You know, and I say it all the time, and I don't feel uncomfortable about saying this. I'll say this in front of any of the ulama, and you know, and they can correct me if anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. But Islam is a patriarchal religion. We are given command as men, absolutely. You know, if it's not haram, you need to obey. That's it. That man has command over you. You know, and I remember when I got married to the Somali, this the imam, he was actually a Salafi guy. He says, you know, her wakil, her like or her waliship, like, you know, her, what would you, how would you say that in English? Like the authority over her, the male authority over her, goes from her father to you. That's the authority you have. He was like expressing this. He was like, you know, so just like she would have to obey her father if he said do something or don't do it, says you have that authority now. He said it's been removed from him and given to you. You know, back to our wakil is what we call him. Brother scheming to marry her. Sometimes the sisters are the ones who initiate this. Yeah. But anyway, we're way off topic. um, yeah, man. Basically, just coming back to the topics, like, you know, these women, when they start taking on like these ideologies of anti-feminism, anti, you know, whatever else, when they come into these male spaces, it's nothing more than just trying to again gather herself a shopping list of male orbiters. And hopefully that one dominant alpha guy will stand out and give her a Cinderella complex and sweep her off her feet, because that's what they're looking for. That's why I'm like always suspicious. I told you guys I do boxing and jiu-jitsu. Every time you see like women in these sports, you're like, what are you doing here? If war breaks out and we fight, are you going to come out into the field? You're going to fight? What are you doing here? You got to go learn how to cook or sew or something. They'll learn how to box and not know how to cook. And then have this inane desire to have a child. So you're here in a place full of hot, sweaty, muscular, absolutely dominant men. And basically you're offering yourself up here for what? It's automatically, of course, the desire for reproduction, even if that's not the active thought, that's the physical desire. But if it happens, you don't even have the basic feminine attributes to provide it. What are you doing in a male space? What are you doing here? I do believe in teaching your woman to fight, but that's something that one individual man does to his woman. He teaches her how to fight, or he teaches her a particular skill that he thinks is necessity, or is a necessity for his particular family. Why are you out here with a bunch of men? And that sister is a classic example. I wonder if her father, her brothers, or whatever else knows how she's behaving online. I highly doubt it. And if they do, then what kind of men or male examples does she have? They're definitely not leaders, because they're letting her go out and do her own thing. She doesn't feel the need to follow. She feels like she's the one that needs to lead. Well, it's all on, man. It doesn't look good. It's not a good look. Alhamdulillah, I was talking to his sister. I was talking about it before. I don't want to say the brother's name, but basically on this thread. And I left her a nice long post. I was like, look what you're doing here. You've undermined your husband. And she actually unfriended the brother after that. And I think she actually took it to heart, because she was like, oh, wow. She had a response that was actually surprising. Like, I never even thought of it like that. So I don't think a lot of women actively understand that their actions undermine their menfolk. And if they truly care about them, then they would stop. But if they don't, if they're just looking to chase, male attention and validation, and that's more important than anything else, then you're going to find that they're not going to surrender it. And if you find yourself in a marriage or a wedding with a woman like this, then what are you doing there? Get married before you get rid of her, just to really twist the blade. There should be a anti-feminist pro-red pill marriage app. No need for women to enter the space to have a dialogue. I was just discussing this with the admin of the page, that maybe we should start up a red pill male and female group, sort of like an open sort of like page, and we just moderate it. But it's, again, then we're basically doing the same thing this woman is. We're providing a platform for men and women to free mix. So, but there's definitely a demand and a need for it. But at the same time, it's like benefit and harm. What's greater?
I don't think I'll do it. I wouldn't take part.
Yeah, it's really a minefield. And we haven't done it. I shot the idea out there as to whether or not it was something that we should look at. But yeah, it's because if not, you're gonna have people like this leading the charge.
Your job as an older guy is to help out us younger ones, for example. If we can't then go and try help out women, they got to try, sort themselves out. Like,
you can't.
They've got to rectify themselves out. We can't do that for them.
If you haven't been on Reddit, the Red Pill Reddit page, and read the sidebar, you need to get over there and read it. You cannot teach women about their nature. They have an automatic switch off in teaching women about. There's actually a woman's red page, and I read it actually, and the women are actually there. They're miles apart. They're not unicorns, but they're definitely miles apart from the standard woman that you see. So this was the basis of my idea when I saw the women's red pill page. But basically, going back to what I was saying, trying to teach women about their nature is impossible. So is arguing with them. I do it because I love to watch the hamster just spin. I love watching the hamster go nuts. I am obsessed with the process of just obfuscation and madness that women go through to try and make and justify points. It's just like, how did you get there? I love it, man. I love watching it happen. And especially when you can do it face to face, because then you see their eyes twerk around, they're looking around, and you can see like, oh, she's coming up with something good. It's usually a deflection, but you know,
Yeah, man, it's always personal attacks. It's always personal attacks.
They're good at like misdirection and redirecting. They're amazing at it, man. And I love it. That's why I argue with them online. Not because I think I'm going to make a point with them. If I make a point with them, I'm absolutely shocked. Like that woman on the thread the other day, I was completely like, what? I usually just like beating them down, just because then the rationalizations come to the point of just pure anger and rage. And then when the emotion comes out, that's what she's on, her true emotion show. Just like with this woman we're talking about, who initially came about with this entire conversation, her true emotions and who she really was came out. And you have to be able to push a woman until that comes out. And you can't do that if you don't try and argue with them. But most men aren't interested in that stuff. And you really shouldn't be. I'm looking at it from basically like a forensic psychology behaviorist type, angle. I'm not really looking at it from like trying to make a point. I'm just like, I bet you I know what's going to come next. And I'm usually right. I guess I'm looking for the unicorn that doesn't exist so we can clone her. Adil says, damned if we do, damned if we don't. Absolutely. I think it's a good idea because it reduces the probability of us meeting nutty women. Is there such a thing as non-nutty women? I swear up and down they're all crazy. Because look, you have to see it like this. And it's not that women are crazy, but from the male perspective, they're crazy. But they're not. I think you understand what I mean. Since we operate from a purely logical perspective and from a perspective that we can turn off our emotional condition, it's crazy to us to talk to someone who can only think and operates primarily from an emotional condition and doesn't seem to be able to turn that off and use logic. You see what I mean? So I'm not sure in that sense you'll find a woman who isn't crazy in that sense, because they're going to be really emotionally irrational. And you're going to be looking at them like, what? This woman I married and I thought she was normal. Now she's talking nuts. Islamophobia says on TV says, here in Florida we have the same issue. JW says, before we talk about feminists in male spaces in terms of Muslims, the elephant in the room seems to be that most Muslim women don't realize, or maybe want to realize, that they have taken on feminism. Bro, I said that to that woman in that thread, and I said, you are being a feminist and you don't even realize it. I was like, just by way of you arguing with random strange men online is a masculine trait. And that's what most feminists are. They're women in a masculine state. I was like, this is feminist. She disagreed with me, but I think she understood. Yeah, no, absolutely, bro. They're in this feminist mentality and they don't even realize it. I agree with that 100%, man. Most women are passive feminists and don't even realize it. They'll swear up and down they're not feminists and be walking around straight up feminist mentalities and personalities. Yeah, Abdullah, you're right. They're the
it's a beautiful advice from him. Like it's such a simple sentence, but we have to remember that that's how they are. We shouldn't get bent up over it. We shouldn't get angry at them.
No, they're just crazy.
Try to be patient with it.
It is what it is, man. They're crazy.
Exactly.
I said this in one of our last casts. Islamophobia TV says, essentially what they're saying is that polygamy is permissible, but impossible in their view. So we should just forget it. Yeah, right. No, I'm not just going to forget it. Even decaffeinated coffee contains minuscule amounts of caffeine. It's impossible to live in a gynocentric society and not carry some sort of gynocentric / feminist ideology. I agree with that too. Actually, TFM talks, Turd Flinging Monkey, he talks about this a lot. And he's a big fan of actually Islamic culture and ideas. He actually freaked out one time. You should have seen this video on Saudi Arabia when that feminist Saudi video came out. And he's like, he did that Star Wars skit thing. I actually stole it from him. I admitted I stole it from him. He was like, no, you were supposed to be the chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to the force, not leave it in chaos. He's talking about Saudi, talking about allowing, particular women's rights that they didn't before. Because he consistently shows a connection between, higher birth rates and lower female rights. And he's talking about how the West, the more rights women have gotten, the lower the population, the birth rate has gone. And so most of the Western world has negative birth rates. irreplaceable. These, they're going to fall off in rates. And so he's saying in order to basically maintain high birth rates, you have to oppress women. It's weird. I mean, if oppress is the right word, let me say that. Let me reword that. That's his words exactly. Actually, they're not my words. I think oppress is a little bit too harsh of a statement. I firmly believe that women need to be regulated like small children. They need to be treated like small children. What do you do with small children? You observe and you like monitor and control their behavior quite closely. You know, and that personal trainer, the Polish one, her husband, who I know very well, he has access to all of her social media. She doesn't have any passwords on anything for him. Her phone, her emails, her Facebook, no passwords. He has access to everything. This is the type of control you need. Otherwise, they're gonna get dumb ideas like children do and start sticking forks in light sockets and toasters and stuff, and they're gonna hurt themselves and expect you to come along and save the day. Going back to what I said earlier about taking action without agency. That's our duty as men. We're supposed to give agency to these women, not the other way around, because their emotions run them. And we're not being offensive or insulting to women here. This is just the reality of who they are. We need women because what happens to the world if we run it on a purely logical state? Oppression, whatever else, is going to become widespread because logically it makes sense to have slaves. I'm the descendant of a slave. In terms of my American side, not my mother's side. Logically, that makes sense. Even in Islam, there's like allowed slavery, but not in the way that it was done in America. It's totally different things. So logically, yeah, makes perfect sense. But ethically, is it correct? And this is where the feelings of women come in. It sort of gives us a balance. Now, where women just act on their feelings, where everything's okay. We should allow people to, have 72 different genders because, I can relate to that. No, we need to curtail that type of mentality and behavior also, And this, of course, requires also male spaces trying to stick to the topic because this is where men trade ideas without the interference of women. It's like, oh, I can't believe you said that. And then the guy feels bad, like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm thinking logical. Did I miss something? And then he wants to try and, fix the situation with the woman. Anyway, you get the idea. Invading male space is essentially the adult tomboy. Yeah, it is. It's not good. I've never seen it. I've never seen it turn out to be like a good thing. What up, Abu babe? You're a bit late, bro. We've been on here for over an hour for sure. Yeah, I've never personally seen it. Even, I even recognized this back in Jahiliyyah before I became Muslim. I was like, it was weird to have women in male spaces. It always turned the entire environment awkward. And, I grew up in Germany, but no matter what, every single time there was one girl in an environment with a bunch of guys, a fight broke out without fail. And so after a while, every time a girl showed up, I'd just leave. I'd be like, you know what, man, a fight broke out. Straight up. So I just I think it's a bad idea, man. Yeah. I mean, of course it's a bad idea, obviously. I'm just, I'm reiterating from personal experiences, direct firsthand experiences. I've never seen it to be a good thing.
Should I wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we should wrap this up. Yeah, I agree, Rami. You see how long we've been on here. Rami, I know, I'm just playing. Yeah, 1 hour and 20 minutes, man.
It's me, Rami.
Yeah. Yeah, hour and 20 minutes. I think I agree with you, Rami. We should call it a day.
Rami.
Yeah, that's part of it, Abu Bayd. Before we close this up, let's just say Abu Bayd. Yeah, I agree. I think they want to influence it. They always want to try and influence one way or another. Male mentality, because they understand that basically we run societies. Yeah, they do the same thing to Tom Likas, exactly. They just come on the show and they attack him. You know, and this is part of the shaming tactics, and this is basically what we saw. The sister that basically kind of was the lead up to this. It's the same thing. You know. So, any closing statements? Anyone? Statements, questions from the chat? Speak now or forever hold your peace type of situation. Okay, well then I guess that's it. Rami, you have anything?
Nothing really specific to this, but something that I observe a lot in a lot of Red Pill brothers. Even though, alhamdulillah, a lot of us are Salafi, when it comes to Red Pill stuff, it seems to take over the majority of our education time. And just as a reminder to myself, foremost, not to also squander any time that you should be spent studying Islam.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Kitab Sunnah is the priority. Okay. Well, as always, people, viewers, you know, those who are live or those who come later.
Call Arifa PT plus 447760667097.
Hey. No, that's what that was all about.
I thought a woman broke in or something.
I was like, male space, man. What was I gonna say? Oh, like always, questions, comments, arguments, whatever else, counter arguments, drop it in the comment section. Hit Facebook. I guess I'll start promoting this since I only got 72 likes. Maybe I can get 73 out of this. Drop me a message there. I'll directly reply because it comes straight to my phone. So, you know, I'll see it as a a push notification. I'll respond almost immediately. No, don't do that again. What? No, don't call that person. And yeah. You can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at Abuamerican. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We're out.